tonight is going to really shift things for you in this mini workshop. This mini workshop is designed for one purpose and one purpose only: how to really turn around and create an income stream of $10,000 in the next 90 days, applying the 5 exact moves that are so simple that you'll scratch your head and go, there's got to be more to this. Can't be that easy. Really, can't be that simple. Okay, that's what's going to happen. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to just end up putting in your energy into your implementation, which is then going to allow you to create these outcomes if you take action with these 5 moves that I share with you in this workshop. The 5 moves, by the way, that we talk about here are part of what we teach in our mastermind for a year for our premium clients. We have a premium coaching program or a mastermind mentorship program called the Millionaire Marketing Mastery Program, which is guaranteed to help our clients to make $1 million in 12 months. In fact, they come in with a guarantee to want to make $1 million in 12 months, but most of them are positioned to make $1 million in a day. Not a year, in a day. And the reason that happens is for 2 reasons. Number one, they realize going, hang on, if I can make $1 million in a day, it'll solve all my problems for a year, right? It'll solve all my problems for a month. It'll solve all my problems that I have in a week. And that's better than trying to fight for having to make $1 million in a year, right? And also those that want to make 6 figures, like $100,000. Maybe they're starting out or they're solopreneurs and they want to start off. They may think that $100,000 or $200,000 a year is good money. But then they realize going, hang on, if I can make $100,000 or $200,000 in a day, that'll solve all my problems of my weeks, of my months, and of my years. So why not do it? And that's what happens for them. But the second reason that really happens that for them to create that kind of income in a day is because they realize that if they learn to be coachable, they will apply and they will grow faster. That means they're staying out of their comfort zone of the, hey, I know. The comfort zone is, by the way, called familiar zone. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Familiar zone. Familiar zone is like where you say, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. When that voice in your head goes, yeah, I know that, that's called the familiar zone. That's called the comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen there. Mistakes happen there, okay? But the growth really happens in the place where we have the aha moment. You know those moments in your life where you made mistakes and you felt like you were failing, but you pushed through and you made it through on the other end and you go, oh my God, and you look back and going, dude, I don't know what was happening there, but thank God I'm out of it now. But I realize I've become way better. I'm stronger emotionally. I'm physically stronger. I'm financially better. I'm emotionally way better than I was before. I'm healthier. How many of you can feel that? Wave of the camera for me. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's because you stepped out of your familiar zone into the unfamiliar territory. That means you became coachable, right, to your circumstances or to the people that were involved to help and support and guide you through. And that's what happens to these people in our community, which is why they grow so fast. So we decided to go ahead and say, right, why don't we, Christmas is around the corner. The most powerful quarter of the year for anyone financially, whether they're at a job or business or an investment, is the last quarter of the year. If we can finish strong, it can make a massive impact and it can give you a massive jump start for 2024. Do you agree? So if you can do that, you end the year on a high, you can start the year on a high as well. But the funny thing is most people are not. The problem is most entrepreneurs, most business owners, most solopreneurs, most digital marketers, most network marketers, most affiliate marketers, they end the year on a low. And then they try to G themselves up and they motivate themselves to get back on track for the year, for the following year. And they set all these resolutions and these goals, hoping that they will achieve and hoping that the following year will be better than the previous year. See, dreams were not built and created on hope. They were created based on action and they were based on inspiration. Inspiration means you got to get in spirit and aligned with yourself, what's inside you, to be able to allow that to come forward and meet the sign of action or implementation. And that's what we're going to talk about here in this workshop. That's why we're bringing these 5 steps to you guys. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Sohan. I am the co-founder of Epic Wealth Academy, also known as EWA. It's a company that helps entrepreneurs around the world, digital marketers, affiliate marketers, network marketers. We help them to be able to create video marketing strategies and social media marketing strategies that will allow them to create 6 and 7 figures in a day so that they can 10x their revenue, not in a month, not in a year, because we're done past that. And, you know, we're in 2024 almost now. And most gurus out there are teaching you how to create 6 figures in a year. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to teach you how you can do that in a day, because the secret has been out and the cat's out of the bag. So there is a way that you can do way less and make more money in a shorter period of time. Then you can work longer and harder in a longer period of time to make less money. Does that make sense to you? So since that was revealed, we said, you know what, we can't stop telling people about this. People need to know it. Our peeps need to know. And that's why we wanted to get this workshop out here for you, so you can see, okay, $10,000 in 90 days, how do I make that possible? So we're going to dive right into that. So while I do that, I want to go around the room right now. And part of this workshop is to be able to get you introduced. By the way, the world is watching you. So it's your opportunity to let people know who you are, because the best known always beats the best. Let me repeat that. The best known always beats the best. Doesn't matter how great your product is, doesn't matter how great your service is, it doesn't matter, right? But if you're known more than the person who's got the best product, you're going to win all the time. So you want to get known as much as you possibly can. And this is your opportunity to share just a little bit about who you are. Take 60 seconds to come out on the table and share who you are, what you do, and why are you here? What's your number one reason to be here in this mini workshop today or tonight? Let's go ahead and start. I know I've got a lady in the house, so I'm going to start with Annie. Ladies first, where I come from. So put her on the spot. And for those of you looking for the mute button or the mic button, unlike Zoom, there's no mute button here. There's a mic button right at the top center of your screen. You just click that mic to unmute yourself and click that mic to mute yourself back again. Take it away, Annie.
Hey, y'all. Annie, coming in from Western Australia, born and raised in New Zealand, been living and working in Australia all over the country for the last 20 years, mum, entrepreneur, and go-getter. Yes, go get it, girl. That's my motto at the moment, and really involved with what I'm doing at the moment, and happy to be here. It was 6 a.m. for me, so yep, I was keen. Set my alarm, and still got the dressing gown on, but that's okay, out in the garden, so not too noisy for the house, because they're all still sleeping at school holidays here. And yes, thank you for having me. That's me.
Let's go. Thanks for coming. Good stuff, Annie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, who wants to go next?
I think
don't be shy now. Don't put your hands up all at the same time. Dirk, I know you're around. Come on, y'all. You guys are 10Xers. Let's go.
Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you, but can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, hold on. Looking for the little thingies.
Right at the top, they'll say camera.
There you go.
And you just click on camera, and you should be able to. There you go. We see you, Dirk. Okay, and by the way, before you go ahead, Dirk, so just so you guys get a bit of housekeeping for you, if you want help with, on the top you'll see some controls. There's mic, camera, speaker, raise hand. So if you want to raise your digital hand, you can raise your hand. But if you keep your cameras on, you can just wave at the camera, and I'll see you. Okay, and view. So if you click on view, you'll be able to change the whole view of your screen. If you want to see everybody, just click on gallery. If you want to just see the active person who's speaking, then just click on active speaker. And if you want to see yourself when you're speaking, every time you speak in a dialogue, choose active speaker, including yourself. Okay? That means every time you speak, the camera focus will change, and it'll be yourself on the big screen. Okay? But if you just want to see everybody else while I'm teaching or while I'm talking, just choose gallery view, and you're good as gold. Okay? This is way better than a Zoom. It's just a matter of getting on it the first time to get yourself acquainted with it. But it's way better than Zoom for a million reasons, especially from a business standpoint and from an economic standpoint. But yeah, that's a topic for another day. Yeah. Dirk, back to you, my man. Welcome.
All right. So I am Eric. I'm from Canada, British Columbia.
There you go. Let's go.
And well, I've been trying, not very successfully, to make some online businesses. So I took some 10x workshops, and that's how we came in contact, I guess. And yeah, I'm just here to see what's up and what we can learn.
That's awesome. Thank you. Welcome, Dirk. So should I call you Dirk or should I call you Eric? Because I thought you said my name is Eric, but I don't think you said your name is Eric. You said your name is Dirk.
Yeah,
Dirk. It was just the accent.
The accent.
It was just I get that all the time. So you're all sweet, man. So what's your what's the one intention that you would love to fulfill at the end of this workshop? I always ask.
Well, to I guess get a better understanding of those 5 steps that you're gonna show, and see if I can apply and how I'm gonna be able to apply them to whatever I'm doing right now, and see if I can make those 10 grand in 3 months.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Good stuff, mate. Welcome. You got an applause too. All right. Who's going next? Jaron? I've got Jaron next on the screen, on my side of the screen, so I'm just going to call him. Jaron, you there, buddy? Jaron is one of our members in our Video Ed community, so I know he was really keen. He was really keen to get on this workshop yesterday. But I'm not sure if you got your audio on. We can't hear you, Jaron. We can't hear you. We can't see you. We'll go to Patrick. We'll come back to you, Jaron. Patrick, you there, Patrick? Earth calling Patrick. Earth calling Patrick 1. Earth calling Patrick twice. Earth calling Patrick thrice. Hello. We can't hear you. We can't see you. Now, if anyone's having trouble with their audio, turn the camera on at least, or in the chat, find the chat. It's right there in the top right of your screens. If you click on chat, you'll be able to drop a chat message. If you're on your phones, you'll see chat right there on your phone at the bottom of your screen. But if you drop a chat to tell us or tell me what the problem is that you're facing, whether it's your audio or camera, I can help guide you and tell you what you need to do. But if you're all good, just hit the camera button and come out, and don't feel shy, and introduce yourself, because this workshop is for you. Chris, you in the house, Chris? I know you've just jumped in. Feel free to hit the mic button at the top of your screen, and you can unmute yourself. Let me see if I can unmute you. Maybe I can send a quick prompt. There you go, Chris. I've just sent you. I've asked you to unmute yourself. So now you should be able to see something on your screen that allows you to unmute yourself. Let's see.
I think that works.
Chris, there you go. Yeah, your mic works. Yay! We hear you, buddy. What about your camera? Try that now. Let's try that. I'm going to send you. Let's see if that works. No, that doesn't work. I can't send you, but try from your end. Are you on your computer or your phone?
I am on my computer. It says says meeting requires access to your camera. Click the padlock icon on browser.
Yep.
Oh.
So on the browser, you'll see a little camera icon right there where you normally type your what's the word? Your the URL, the website address. Right there at the top.
I don't see that.
When you're looking right above the mic button, right where your eyes shift right above the mic button, what do you see on top?
Just all the pages that are, I don't.
Yep. Oh, and above the pages, what do you see? You see some little tiny icons?
No, just the microphone, the refresh, looks like a shield.
Okay. And you see a little microphone button there?
I only see the microphone and the camera next to each other, but I don't see it on my browser.
Okay. And as you look up where you have the address that you type of a website, so you can see your eyes are looking at the address right now.
Yeah, I might have it.
And
here.
then Okay, let me share my screen for you real quick, so that way at least because you can see my screen. Yeah, you can see me.
I can see you. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, okie dokie. All right, so I'm gonna show you.
I
Okay,
think
so
I don't know.
that's
It
all right.
looks
Go on.
like-
Yeah, you think you're doing. There you go. We see ya. Woo! You're a handsome man, Chris. You're a good-looking guy with a charming smile. There, you made it. Welcome,
made-
Chris.
Yes. Well,
Go
I have
ahead.
a service
Introduce
company.
yourself to the
That's
team.
what I have. It's just a pool service company in Tampa, Florida. So, and I just got in, so
Yep.
I look the way I
Yep.
look. This is what happens
That's it.
after.
You look
a day.
cool, dude. You look you look cool. I wanna hire your services to come and get a pool in my house here in Australia. You know,
Well,
so
there
you
you
look cool. You
And
look
I've always
you
wanted
look
to go.
attractive and engaging enough to want to do business with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So tell us about what's your one intention that you want to fulfill from this workshop.
I would like to be able to get, I reach builders, but I don't reach like regular people that would hire me for pool service. Just people who build pools. Most of my followers are other pool people, so I want people that have pools that need to find a pool service.
Cool. That's really good. We're gonna help you do that. Okay. Let me see if there anybody is there anybody else on the list here that's message because there are people messaging you saying I can't get in, I can't do this, and I can't do that. I'm like, yeah, right, all right, I got you. Same thing that happened to me a few times. Okay. No, we're looking good. Okay, message them. We're good. Good, Chris. Thank you. And I'm gonna whatever I share here. Remember, this is a conversation where we can ask questions. So when you drop them in the chat, you're more than welcome to keep them in the chat there, and I'll definitely look at them and I'll bring them up on the screen, and then I'll address them towards the end of this after I cover the 5, just so that we don't break the flow for you. But you know, the flow of thought, I want to make sure that it's captured right through and through. Unless it's really called for and is obviously relevant to the point I'm making, and then I'll right away answer it. But one of the things that I want to get you guys to do is in this workshop, I was saying this before, I like small, intimate groups because you're not a number anymore, and you can actually you're seen and you're heard, and you can address conversations, and it's a dialogue. It's not a monologue. Because otherwise, if you're in an ocean of hundreds of people or thousands of people, you're just sitting there and you're trying to take in the info and you're trying to go and execute, and it's really hard to get the answers right there and then. But I like mini workshops where it's boutique, it's small, you can get some answers to your questions, you can execute and take action right away, right? So take notes of anything you get and you go, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting. And drop that in the chat, because your aha or your insight could help somebody else in this room. So don't just keep it personal for yourselves. Yeah, feel free to write your own notes if you were taking them, but feel free to also share them in the chat, because that's one way of me as a facilitator to get some feedback of what's happening with you in your head, but also your insight can give someone else the green signal that they were looking for, the aha moment they were looking for. Yeah, sharing is caring, and that's how communities are built. Each of us needs all of us, and all of us need each of us. That's how we grow and rise together. Patrick, have you sorted your mic and your camera, or are you still struggling, my friend? Chris, your camera's gone off just in case, so you want to know. Patrick, are you back? Are you in there?
I'm here. I'm just doing some stuff, so I'm present, but not here. Got you, butter.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're there. That's good. At least we get to
I'm
hear you.
here.
Okay, Patrick, go ahead and introduce yourself to the family and tell us who you are, what you do, and why you're here.
Perfect. Everyone, hello. I am Patrick. Me and Sohan met indirectly online from the Tenants community, great community. I'm here just to learn more about what you're offering. So I'm just here to learn and to see what can be done, and then just continue to improve what can be improved on. So that's the game plan right now.
Good. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what business you're in or what business you're about to kick off.
Yeah, so business, I am a men's self-development coach. I'm also a secondary consultant for business, but my main one is offering men's coaching for self development. So that's my main industry.
Oh, cool. And is there any specific area in self-development that you focus on with men? Is there anything that's common or specific?
Right now, I'm more focused on building their direction and North Star, because that's a very important concept for them to have. Because once you have that solidified, because I know it changes, but once you have like a foundational one created, then you can figure out what's next for you, like building your money, your love and relationships, etc. Because my aim for the men is to build a overall life perspective, like tackle everything. So have everything you want. So that's the aim.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. And what's your single intention that you want to fulfill from this mini workshop?
I'll just really getting the value of it, and then seeing how how to apply it from here, and then move forward based on
Okay.
what I learned and technical
Okay.
methods, and then just go from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
And is there something, there's one thing that you could get? What's that one specific thing that I can give you that you would want? Just so that I know, so I can make sure I hit the nail, because otherwise I'm all in the dark. It's like, hey, the North Star is somewhere up there in the sky. And I'll be looking and looking, and I'll be like, come on, Patrick, where exactly in the sky? Because I don't know what I'm looking at. And then Patrick goes, Sohan, there, right there, I'm pointing at it. Can you see? And when you point at it, I see it, and they go, oh, Patrick, I see it. Thanks, bro. So specificity always sells. So when I run workshops with people, I always like to ask them, what's that specific intention you have that you want to learn? What's that one thing you're looking for that you haven't found yet that I might be able to give you? Or I might be able to point you in the right direction to get it.
Could you also remind me of the workshop, because I signed up for a lot, and then I said, oh yeah, I said yes to, and I forgot. Do you mind reminding me again, please? I appreciate it. Man.
Like it. You're just taking it all in as much as you can right now. So
Yeah.
this is the mini workshop where you're going to know how to create 10K an income stream in 90 days, right? By Christmas.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, so it's really taking one nugget of what is the, I won't say trick, but I would say what is the concept that could move it forward, so I can, let's say, either find a certain way to make things go faster, like a certain process or any kind of step I need to figure out what's not working, so I can try something different and apply it and see what works.
Okie dokie. All right. And you mean when you want to move faster, you're talking about your revenue move faster, or you want to get results faster for your clients? Which one?
More both, actually.
Both. If you had to choose one, which would it be?
Revenue.
Revenue. Okay, thank you. Yep, I thought so. I like to ask these questions. As you can see already, I'm already digging in. And if you haven't realized, the workshop has already begun, my friends. The workshop has begun. I'm already working with you, and you're already working with me through these questions and answering them and trying to think through the process. Because the first thought that all of you need to write down is specificity sells. So everybody, please give a round of applause to Patrick for making that and bringing that to attention.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I wanted that introduction. Now that you guys know each other, free to feel comfortable. Patrick, when you're ready, I know you messaged saying that you're taking care of some stuff at the moment, so you can't have the camera on. But once you do, turn your camera on. Chris, feel free to keep your camera on while you're with me. It's all good. Even if you're eating and you're having dinner or whatever you guys are doing, it's all good. You can eat with your mouth full. Hey, I'm not judging, because the judgment seat has been taken already. So I'm not worried about that stuff, right? I'm just here to make sure we can work together and get some value that can help us grow. But I'd like to see faces. That's why I like to have these kind of setups, because otherwise, if I don't see the face, I can't see your reaction, I can't see your emotion, I don't know where you're at, and it makes it harder for me to guess. I don't want to guess. I want to be able to pinpoint, give you action straight away. All right, so let's get right into it. The 5, oh, you can't see this, can you? It's all in black. We need to change that. Let me just change the colors on my, let me just change these colors so I have the right colors on my screen. Okay, 5. We're going to make these 5 moves. They're going to help us to get 10K in 90 days. Woohoo! And this is not exaggeration, y'all. I'm literally talking about this making it possible. All you need to know is how you're going to apply each part of this 5 move, and then it's going to build for you. Now, if you struggle with it, I want you to put a question mark next to it. If it's important to you, I want you, so if this is what it is. If you're struggling with this first move, just put a question mark. If you like it, put an asterisk. If you love it, put 5 asterisks. Okay, 5 stars. Okay? Whatever you get in your notes, Chris says, how did you know? I know, bro. I've done this for the 25 years, so I know the time. It's like almost 7 o'clock. I know you're hungry and you're on the road and you're dealing with builders. I bless your heart. So, you're definitely hungry. So yeah, turn your camera on, eat with a mouthful. You're sweet, bro. And all our clients meet up at this time. So, yeah, they're busy eating and they're learning and they're, I'm like, yeah, cool. I do the same thing. So you're easy. It's all good. Feel at home. So yeah, when you're taking your notes, if you're struggling with something, if in the sense of you're going, I can't understand it. I don't know how it can make sense to me. I don't know if I can apply it. I don't know whether it'll make me money if I applied it. Put a question mark. If you like what you're listening to, that point or idea, put an asterisk, 1 star. But if you love it, put 5 stars next to it. Okay. And drop all 3 of these in the chat, just so that you're sharing it with me and I know where you're at and where you're going. Because I'm not a mind reader. That's one thing I suck at. I don't read minds. Okay. Here we go. You ready? If you're ready, say, I'm ready. You can unmute and say, I'm ready, or just drop it in the chat. I'm ready. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. So the first thing I would do, and this is where we learned a lesson. The mistake that people were making was, I did not pay attention to learn digital marketing. Man, you guys have to understand. I did not pay attention to digital marketing. I thought just posting on, back then, there was no stories, there was no reels. So it was just posts on Facebook. And I thought just posting it everywhere would make a difference. And when I look back now, in my entire 25 years of my career, if there was one thing, they say hindsight's a powerful thing, right? If there's one thing that I would do different, is as a beginner, how many of you are beginners in digital marketing? Drop beginner in the chat. If you're a beginner in digital marketing, and when I say beginner is if you haven't made 6 figures through digital marketing, solely through digital marketing, then you're a beginner, okay? So 6 figures is like your benchmark, okay? So drop it in the chat and tell me if you're a beginner. Just say, I'm beginner. Okay, cool. So we know that we're all beginners on the plane. In hindsight, if I were a beginner, the first thing I would do is I would go ahead and check this out. Scrap the word, scratch that out, scratch that, be dramatic now. Scratch that word learn and write the word master. I would master digital marketing. Let me explain why I said that. You see, you and I were trained. We're almost, all of us are in the same bucket as far as our age group is concerned. Although I stopped aging at 26, so that's cool. But here's the funny thing. We were trained to keep learning and 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 learning, and then go and attend an exam and try and pass an exam. How many of you can relate? Wave the camera for me. Yeah, it's called stacking, right? We're just told to learn, you learn something. So here's the difference between learn and master. So we're supposed to learn A, then we're supposed to learn B, then we're supposed to learn C, then we're supposed to learn D, then we're supposed to learn E, then you're supposed to learn F, and we're supposed to keep stacking all this learning. And then we're supposed to go ahead and give an exam for it, or we're tested as far as our knowledge is concerned. And by the time you realize, if you look closely at all these learnings of all these stacks, we actually ended up learning just this much, while the rest of it didn't even make sense or we don't remember. Same thing with this part. We probably learned this much and the rest of it is vague. We learned a little bit here and the rest of it was vague. How many of you can relate to what I'm talking about? Biology, history, geography. How many of you remember every single thing you learned about history in school? Yeah. right? That's what we do. So we end up learning just a little bit of everything. And we end up doing all these things, getting overwhelmed, and we get lost, and we just can't figure out what we want. How many of you have been lost? Come on, show me some show of hands. I know I was. Okay? Like, you're lost. Like, you think about it, and then you're hitting yourself in the head going, I can't be that stupid. Like, I really used to pay attention in class. Like, I passed my exams. Some of you might say you guys were, A grade, A pluses, right? I certainly wasn't an A plus student. I was the backbencher kid. I was the one who was the notorious one. I flunked 2 subjects in my last year, and I had to do a repeat, and I made it through. So I used to look at that and go, oh my God, I'm learning all these things, but how many of these things am I really applying? And how many of these things do I remember? Not much. Until I realized I was living a life of mediocrity while I was wanting to achieve this 10x life, this big dream, this big goal. And yeah, it's all great to think about wanting to be very big thinking, big dreaming, but how do I apply what I've learned? And then came one of my wise mentors in our lives, where we invested about 2 years ago. We invested $150,000 in them, and they taught us and they showed us, and they said, they did this literally. It was like almost knocking me on my head going, listen up, chucklehead. This is what he said. He said, you've been learning. It's time for you to stop learning if you want to really make the big impact, make influence, and make the big income like you're trying to see these gurus make. Say, well, I have been, and I'm listening to you, and I paid you the money, and I'm learning. He goes, stop learning from me. He goes, you got to start mastering from me. I said, what do you mean? He goes, what you got to do is you got to pick one thing, and you got to master the whole thing first. Once you've mastered that, only then go to the next one and then master that. And then once you've mastered that, only then go to the next bit in your business and master that. But when you start going one at a time and you start mastering one bit at a time, you will realize that what you have done is you've created a stack of mastery. And once you've created a stack of mastery, you are now solid. But your solid foundation starts here with the very first part that you need to master. Now, you guys have to understand, in business, there are twin tickets to success. In business, you know what they are? Marketing and sales. Twin tickets of success. I don't care what business we're in, whether it's a brick and mortar or whether it's a click and order, it's always marketing and sales. Your product can be the most crappy product on the planet. Okay? But if your marketing and sales are top, you will sell that product like hotcakes. Now, I don't advocate you go out, sell the most crappy product. But what I'm saying is you guys already know that you have the world's best product. True or true? Wave at the camera and tell me you already have the best product. You already know. If you don't know, then there's an issue there with belief system, and that's fine. We can get you some counseling and you can work through that, and you'll be fine in therapy. but if you already know that you've got the best product, and hey, by the way, if you don't have a digital product of your own, or if you're just starting out, you're on the come up, or if you don't have a like a tangible product, it's all good. The product is you. But guess what? Even if you were the product and if you were crappy, What do I mean by that? If you had no confidence, no self-confidence, if you had lack of self-esteem, if you were shy, if you thought you were an introvert and you can't connect with people, if you thought you sucked at anything, like you're, sitting at the table and having an intellectual conversation, doesn't matter what your story is. If you felt like you had the biggest trauma in your life and you thought you as a product sucked in this world, you could still make it big if you mastered marketing and sales. Let me give you an example and prove this to you. Have you guys seen or know at least one person who is rich as you know what, but they're dumb as ditch water? Raise your hand if you know of, or if you've seen someone who's dumb as ditch water, whether you've seen them on TV or on social media. They're dumb as ditch water, but they're loaded. They're balling. Wave at the camera if you know someone or you've seen someone like that. Yeah. Hello. That's proof in the pudding. You don't have to be the smartest pencil in the pencil case. You don't have to be the sharpest pencil in the pencil case. You don't have to have the greatest product, and you don't have to be the great product, but you certainly need to master marketing and sales. And out of marketing and sales, which one is the most important? Between the twins, there's always one. I don't know if you guys are parents of twins or you have twins in your families, but in the twins set, there's always one that's the money maker, the game changer, the rainmaker. Which one do you think is the rainmaker between marketing and sales, y'all? Come on, make this interactive for me. Feel free to unmute yourself and speak, or drop it in the chat. But I think unmuting and talking to me is way better. By the way, people on YouTube, you should have been in this room with us so that you could have had this intimate conversation, which, by the way, people pay us $20,000 an hour to have this kind of a discussion and get answers to. So you're not here, you're missing out. These guys are getting all of it. Next time, make sure that you reach out, connect with us, and get the link so you can be in here too. Sorry, carry on.
Marketing.
Marketing, you're right. Marketing always trumps sales.
Mm-hmm.
If your marketing is top, you don't have to sell nothing. The marketing sells for you. Does that make sense? Apple, how many of you have got iPhones? How many iPhones? Please flash your iPhones proudly at the screen right now for me. Flash your iPhones at the screen. Oh, wow, we got two iPhones happening there, right? Okay, I'm not an iPhone guy, I'm an Android guy, but that's cool. But check this out. You'll get this. Even we Android guys get this. Hey, every single time Apple launches something new, there is like a beeline outside Apple stores around the world. It's not just coincidence. It's not, oh yeah, in my neighborhood in California, well, Apple seems to be selling more. No, I'm sorry. You come to Melbourne, there are people sleeping the night prior at the shopping center right outside in a line, waiting to get in first thing to be able to get that phone. How many of you, wave at the camera if you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, dude. That's what is called marketing. That's not selling. They're not selling nothing. They're marketing. They've learned how to market the product really well. I can go in a whole different conversation with Apple right now. But the purpose of this conversation right now is so you realize that if you can master digital marketing as the first move, then you will be very, very successful. Chris, as an example, I'm not putting you on the spotlight, but I'm just going to give a really cool example there. So Chris is really great with his service. He's very well known for providing high-end pool services. He runs that through JV partnerships, or he goes through the one-to-many strategy. He goes to the builder, and the builder obviously has many projects, and that's how he gets many of these projects launched out for his service contracts. True, Chris? Yeah. Okay. Now Chris is also looking to get a little bit of retail business. Why? Because he wants to go direct to consumer. He wants to go directly to the homeowner, and he wants to go, hey, Mr. Homeowner, you got a pool, we've got the best service, we got to marry each other, and I'll look after you. True, Chris. Now, the challenge Chris is having is he needs to get in front of people, and he doesn't know how to do it. Well, the only thing he needs to do now is he needs to focus on looking at his messaging through his digital marketing effort. That means all you need to do is learn how to brand. Write this down, y'all. Somebody put the word brand in the chat. Brand yourself. How do you brand yourself? This is where the gurus don't teach you this stuff. You attend the long, I'll give you an example. I'm part of the 10X mentorship community. I'm not throwing any shade. I'm giving you straight, truthful fact. When I'm in a room of thousands of people or hundreds of people, it is not possible for the person who in front, in the facilitator, to be able to attend to each of those people in that room of thousands or hundreds to be able to know what they're doing and speak specifically to their business. Is that true or true? Yeah. So that's reasonable, right? So I don't expect to get an exact specific tactic on how to execute the strategy. So what I've just done is I've given you a strategy right now in this workshop. Just like they do, they tell us, go and brand yourself. Branding is important, Chris. Branding is important, Dirk. Branding is important, Annie. Branding is important, Sohan. Branding is important, Patrick. Brand yourself. Okay, but here's what happens. Wave of the camera if this is true for you now. Workshop ends. You walk away from the call. And you scratch your head going, how the hell do I brand myself? Let's Google this or YouTube this. Raise your hand and wave at the camera. Wave at the camera for me if that's happened for you. You've tried to, because now you heard the person in there said to you, "Guy, you got to go and brand yourself, y'all." So now you're going and you're like YouTubing and you're going, this is easy. Let's just go on YouTube and say how to brand yourself as a service provider, or as a coach, as a digital marketer, as an affiliate marketer. You're going in and you're putting that stuff in there, right? And you're getting confused because you're getting all these different ways of making it happen. And then you're still getting overwhelmed, not knowing what to do. What you need is clarity. Here's your clarity for you. You ready? The way you're going to brand yourself is you're going to focus on one solution to that one problem. And you're going to focus on one avatar. I'll talk about that in a second. But the key for you to be successful at branding yourself, meaning when you walk out the room, people need to be talking about you, about that one thing you're known for. It doesn't matter how many services you have to offer. It doesn't matter how many products you have. Okay? Drop it in the chat and tell me how many products you currently have. Products or services. Just give me a number. If it's more than one, just put a 1+. Okay, I see Dirk saying he's got 3. Okay, Chris, you probably have more than 3 or 2 at least. You got 2 services, great. Okay, Annie, you probably have 4 or 5. That's why I see that smile, right? Okay, so here's the funny thing. We want to do all of them, which goes back to jack of all trades, master brand of none. But if we were mastering, if you look at all the wealthy people, Alex Hormozy did a really cool video recently. I think he was hitting that home. It was I call it his rant video, because he was just ranting away. He goes, okay, it almost came across as like, okay, I've had enough of this. You guys have to listen very carefully now. It was that kind of video. But he basically said the same thing. All the wealthy people in the world, how many of you aspire to be wealthy, like the wealthiest person in your entire family for generations to come? Raise your hands and tell me that you would love to be the wealthiest in your entire generation that no one has seen in your family. So, okay, cool. You do. Okay. Here's the funny thing. I can shift that from I would like to be to I am definitely going to be by this one simple way of doing it. Stop trying to be everything to everyone. There you go. And this is where my mentor, he knocked me on the head, well, metaphorically speaking, and he said, listen up, chucklehead. You're trying to be everything to everyone with your services. He goes, I know you're doing great. I know you want to serve people. I know you got a big heart. I know you want to really make an impact. And I know you're great at all these different things. But what's the one thing that your juices flow, that you know that you can help people get results and you can solve that problem for them, even though you can solve problems for many other things? And so I had to sit down and I had to pick one, because I realized that the wealthy people, they focus on one thing, they master it, they milk it, and then they move on to the next one to milk that. So in your situation, your income streams, if you want to generate 10K in the next 90 days, The first thing you got to do is you got to master digital marketing, not digital sales, digital marketing. And part of that, like, how do you master it? What do you master? Because digital marketing is such a broad subject. Branding. Brand yourselves. That's what you need to master. How do I brand myself, Sohan? Well, here's a tactic. Focus on one problem and give them the solution to that one problem. Be known for that one problem. Don't be known for all the solutions. Be known for one solution. It doesn't mean that you can't provide the rest of the solutions. But here's the thing. You want to be known for that. Once a customer comes through the door, then you can solve that, because they've come through the door to solve that one problem. Once that problem is solved, now guess what happens when one problem is solved? Do you know what happens when one problem is solved? Talk to me. What do you think happens?
They come back.
I was going to say, you get another problem.
Yep, that's right, Chris. They have another problem that comes up. Check this out. When you solve one problem for someone, your solution solves that one problem, but it also creates another problem for them. This is fun. Think about it. So you walked into a beautiful home. You built it exactly the way you wanted it. Okay, you got the home. You got the house. You walked into the house now, and you realized there's no furniture. Oh, you have a new problem now. You need really cool furniture. So what are you going to do? You're going to go and look for solving that problem to get the kind of furniture you want. Now, I get it. When you're building your dream home, you're thinking of all these things, the exterior, the interior, the architecture, the furniture. You're planning all these things in advance. But the reality is there's still one problem after another that arises from each solution subsequently. If this makes sense, wave the camera to me. So in one of our blockchain projects, I helped one of our guys about 3 years ago. We're focused on 2 blockchain projects. Again, we didn't focus on 2 blockchain projects together. We focused on one at a time. We mastered one. We let it blow up. And now we're focused on the second one because the first one's on autopilot. So I don't have to worry about that one. Now I'm focused on this one. We're going to blow this one up as well. Okay. So what happened 3 years ago, about 4.5 years ago, 3.5 years ago, we helped some people, about 1,500 families, to be able to generate passive income through the blockchain project that we were working on. Now, 1,500 people is a lot of people if you put them in your living room, just for size, okay? That's a lot of people. But check this out. They made the money. One guy made all the money, right? He started making $35,000, $40,000 passive every month. Passive. But that solved the problem of him not having passive income of $35,000, $40,000. But now he has a new problem. You know what's his new problem? I was laughing. I called it first world problems. He said, Sohan, man, my thumb's getting sore, bro. I have to keep hitting the withdraw button all the time. It's so much money every day. I'm like hitting the withdraw button with my thumb and my thumb is getting sore. Okay, jokes apart, the new problem he really has is not the thumb being sore, but now his problem is, where do we travel around the world because we're making so much money? Where do I take my wife and my daughter? And how do I see these different places? All of a sudden, he's got more time, which previously he didn't have because he was traveling around the world, well, America to begin with. He was traveling more around the US to speak, and he was beating his chest for, very proudly, and so he should, that he was charging $100,000 for each talk. So he was making some good coin every time he went to a different place. But guess what? He was traveling without his family. So he was not really spending time with his family. So he wanted a place where he could solve that problem, which passive income solved. But when it solved that problem of time, now it created a new problem, which was, where do I utilize this time? I want to travel. Where do we go? So just recently, he's on a 7-week holiday at the moment in Mexico with his wife. And for the first time ever, Up until now, I used to think his wife was fictitious. I swear to God. I told him that too. I said, "You're bullshitting me, mate. I don't think your wife exists. I think you just make the story up, and you post this photo every time when you're wishing her for a happy birthday, which is like a photo from when you were in your teenage years. Like, it's not even a recent photo. She can't be that opposed to you having to post a photo. I mean, I get she doesn't want to have a Facebook profile, but come on. Like, you're not even going to tag her. But if you're not putting a photo up, I don't think she's real. But for the first time, I discovered she is real. He actually shot a video of them on the plane of going to Mexico, and that's his wife. And I'm going, man, for the first time, he's actually traveling with his family, and he's not traveling alone. Do you see the problem that's being solved from the previous solution? So that's what happens. That's why I'm saying you need to brand yourself with one problem, and then you go, but Sohan, they have so many problems, and I have so many solutions to all those problems. Which one do I pick? And which one do I get branded for, to get known for? Well, here's a simple answer. You ready? I wasn't going to give this to you guys, but I'm going to do it. I'm feeling generous. I swear to God. Okay. Pick the problem that keeps them up at night, or they're thinking about it all day, throughout the day. That's the problem you need to pick. Why? Because that's the problem that they're most frustrated with. That's the problem they're most frustrated with. And if that's the problem that they're most frustrated with, your solution is going to now be their want. They want that solution. They want that solution, keyword, now. How many of you want business now? How many of you want to increase your revenue now? How many of you want $10,000 now? Raise your hands. Yeah, that's why you're in this room. It's not a desire, it's a want. See, how many of you would desire to make $100,000 in a day? Raise your hand. $100,000 in a day. Raise your hand again, so I can see you. Okay, keep your hand up now. Same people, I'm going to ask you this question. How many of you truly believe that as much as you desire to have the $100,000 in a day, it's not just going to happen now? Keep your hand up if you believe that. Like, it won't happen now. Let's be practical. It won't happen today. I'm not saying it could happen. I'm saying it won't happen. Yeah. Thank you. Right? See, that's because you know that it's a desire. It's long term. You know that it can happen. How many of you believe, keep your hand up if you desire to make $100,000 in a day. How many of you believe that, yeah, it's possible. In a year's time, you could be making $100,000 in a day? Keep your hand up. And if you don't think so, put your hand down. In a year's time, you could make $100,000. In 2 years' time, you could make $100,000 a day. In 3 years' time, you could be, but in long term, in the next 5 years, you should be able to make $100,000 in a day. It's possible. If all the ducks were in a row. Okay, so that's called long term. That's why it's called a desire. The want of $10,000 is possible. How many of you want $10,000? Keep your hands up now. How many of you want $10,000 now? Yeah, keep your hand up. Okay, keep your hand up. Now, how many of you believe that, yes, you can make this $10,000 in the next 90 days? Yeah. See? Okay, kinda. Dirk is like, okay, how many of you believe that you can make $10,000 in the next 6 months? Keep your hand up. Yeah. Oh, look, your body language changed. See, do you agree that 6 months would still be considered now compared to 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, which is then? Do you agree? If you agree, just wave at the camera. Okay. So this is what you have to understand as a very important digital marketing principle. When you're marketing and trying to appeal to your audience, if you want to generate income now, if you want the customer now, you need to speak to their want. You cannot speak to their desire. And there's a chance, there's a possibility that you're probably speaking to their desire, which is why they're not taking immediate action right away. If I had to say to you guys, hey, come to this mini workshop, I'm going to show you how you can make $100,000 in a day within the next 3 months. I bet you, even if you showed up, you wouldn't have the belief it's possible because you don't have the self-belief it's possible for your business. So you would already come into a conversation with me where you don't have the belief. Now I would have to work doubly hard or 10 times harder to convince you of how it's possible. And I'm not in the business of convincing you because guess what? If I have to drag you in, I'm going to have to drag you around. And I ain't doing that because I don't have time for that, nor do I have the muscles for it. Okay? So I'm not dragging nobody around. So you don't want to drag customers in. The way to master and become a brand is to be able to generate leads by getting people to come to you, not you chasing people. Chris wants affluent people to reach him instead of him having to go and door knock, and he doesn't want to do that because he knows that he's not going to get any response if he tries to physically door knock anyone, especially in the affluent community, because that's not how they roll. And he doesn't want to roll like that either, because to a large extent, he is affluent himself. He wouldn't like anyone rocking up at the door at any random time. True or true, Chris? Wave at the camera for me. See? So you would rather have people come to you. The way you're going to make people come to you is become attractive. You become attractive. Your brand needs to stand out for one thing that you're known for. So you pick one problem that they want to solve because they are frustrated with it. Not fearful of it, but frustrated of it. Okay? If they're frustrated, they want a solution now. If they're fearful of it, they just simply desire long-term gain. Example, you want to make $10,000 in the next 90 days, but you desire to make $100,000 a day in the next 5 years or one day. Okay. Same with frustration. If you've got a wound and that, let's say you've got a cut, and how many of you have had a tiny cut and that hurts even more than the big cuts? They're annoying. Raise your hand. And how many times have you said, man, it's so freaking tiny. I feel like an idiot trying to even make a big deal about it, but it hurts. It's even worse than a big cut. Right. Okay. It's so frustrating that you're trying to solve it right away. Band-Aid, whatever, right? Solution. You're solving it right away. It's frustrating. But how many of you would agree that you're fearful of losing your arm one day in an accident? Right? You don't want to lose your arm in an accident one day. That's a fear. It's not a frustration. Because you're not going to be frustrated thinking about losing your arm. But you might feel fearful of losing your arm, God forbid, one day. Okay? Do you guys understand the difference between these two? Right? So focus on branding yourself by picking one problem and giving them the solution. And obviously that problem has to be something that they're frustrated with day and night. That means they're thinking about it all night and they're thinking about it all day. They can't sleep at night because of that problem. And they can't seem to be thinking of they can't do anything properly, can't focus on anything else because all day it's front of mind. It's got to be front of mind. That's frustrating. And of course, if that's frustrating, guess what? They want a solution now, and that's what you will provide. That's what you want to get known for. That's how you build your brand. Okay? Questions or comments before I move to the second move now?
Well, this might be a dumb question, but
Yeah, dumb questions are welcome.
okay, good. Well, some people say I'm too close to the situation. I don't really know what the problem that people have or what their frustration is for pool service.
What a great
I mean, they
question.
want a clear pool,
great
but a
question.
clean pool, but it's really
Yeah.
more than
Yeah. So one of the best things to do, one of the best things to do is to look back at your customers right now, right? And even if your customers come to your builders right now, you look at some of the problems that they face, right? Because you already have some data, you have some insights. All you got to do is just look into that now, because you probably haven't sat down to focus on that to say, right, let me just do some research around it, and look at some of the challenges that they're currently facing with regards to the pool and maintenance of the pool, or the setup of the pool, or the build of the pool, right? And start analyzing, just when I say analyzing, I mean, don't go into the detail, but just literally high level, go, right, what are some of the challenges that come across, that these people come across when it comes to a pool? And then when you come across those challenges, all you need to do is you need to reach out to 1 or 2 people. Now, do you know people that have pools?
I do. Yes.
Absolutely. Right? No brainer. So all you want to do is you want to ask them this simple question.
Go.
Ready?
Yes.
What's your number one, or you can say biggest challenge when it comes to, and fill in the blank. Fill in the blank with what? And I'm saying fill in the blank on purpose because all of you can use this, but I'm talking to Chris, of course, and you guys. When it comes to maintaining your pool. Okay, because that's potentially what you want to get information on, because you provide. I know you probably also you install pools as well, or you don't. No, you don't. Good.
Just
okay, so you're
weekly.
maintaining.
Right.
So, yeah, perfect. So you want to just ask them the simple but yet powerful question: what's your number one challenge, or what's your biggest challenge when it comes to maintaining your pool? And then all you got to do is literally zip those lips, pull out a pen, listen carefully, turn both those ears on, and just take notes profusely and say, what else? As they get stuck, you go, what else? What else? What else? Keep going, what else? Till you dig. And then when you finally get to a place where you know, okay, you felt like they don't have any more, then you go, no, let me write that properly. Is there anything else, or is that it? Is there anything else, or is that it? Okay. This will give you data that you can then come back to the drawing board, Chris, and you can say, okay, now let me circle the one that is most frustrating. Because in that conversation, you can always say, okay, well, out of all of these, which one is the most frustrating for you? Okay. Out of all of these, which one, just one, is most frustrating for you? By the way, this is applicable to every single business on the planet. Okay. When we work with, most of our clients are 10Xers. So the biggest challenge at 10Xers, the reason 10Xers come to us is because they go, well, they get the big picture from Grant, and they attend the workshops, the sales essentials, the marketing essentials workshops. They do all that there, but they get the high level, they get the strategy, but they don't get this tactical stuff, right? So they end up getting stuck and overwhelmed until they come to us and we end up giving them this tactical stuff. Now they can marry the two and they can go and apply, and then they get the outcomes they get. So you need this. This is what you're looking for right now. You're looking for this tactical stuff that'll allow you to go in and go, great, nitty gritty detail that will allow you to take action on. How many of you think this is simple enough to figure out what is that number one big challenge that you can reach out to your audience? Because you're constantly promoting. When are you taking the time to really have a conversation and ask people, hey, what's happening? What's the number one challenge you're facing right now in your business? What's the number one challenge you're facing right now with regards to filling up your pool? What's the number one challenge you're facing right now in helping you create passive income? What's the number one challenge you're facing right now in buying cryptocurrency? What's your biggest challenge you're facing right now when it comes to getting your cryptocurrency exchanged? Dirk, what's your business again?
Um, I'm just actually just starting with a network marketing company that it's also in investing in crypto.
Hello, there you go. Perfect. Okay. So obviously you're trying to solve a problem for them. You're trying to help crypto, you're helping someone create financial freedom, time freedom, correct? So you want to ask them what's, instead of trying to the problem is network marketers, affiliate marketers are never focused on building their brand. They're busy building the brand of the network marketing company. That's the first mistake you'll make. You are a business owner. You are an entrepreneur. People need to work with you, not the network marketing company. Because when you can create a community of people, regardless of the network marketing company, those people will want to stay with you and move with you, aka where you would have created a movement. But they will not move with you if you're focused on just keeping the focus on the network marketing company. Same with crypto. Crypto is a product, right? It's a vehicle that's getting someone to go somewhere. It's the same as what Chris has. Chris has pool services. It's a vehicle. People don't do business with businesses. People do business with business. Chris right now is in the B2B space, for example. Okay. Annie and Dirk, you guys are in the B2C space, business to consumer. You're going directly, you're dealing with individuals. Yeah. But guess what? Both parties, like in Chris's case, he's dealing with builders. They do business with people. They do business with Chris. They're not doing business with his business. They like him. That's why they do business with him. They trust him. That's why they do business with him. They know that he's knowledgeable. That's why they do business with him. They know you. They like you. They trust you. It's your brand that stands there. So it's so important for you to not promote your service or your product as much as you are promoting it right now, but instead you need to promote the fact that your brand is about making a stand for your community. What does that mean? That means that you want to really first identify what is the number one challenge that they're facing, so that when you can get that clear and you realize that's the problem, that's the frustrating problem, then you can say, hey, I've got a solution to that and I'll give you a solution right now. They'll accept your Band-Aid if it is frustrating. But if it's not frustrating and it's just something that they're fearful of, it's long term. They will not come to you now. They'll say, yeah, okay, I'll keep you in mind. And they'll come later. But you're looking to make it happen now, not later. Right? So all of you have to think about, okay, how can I make this possible? By first focusing on one problem with one solution, and then that will allow me to move forward. One problem that's frustrating and one solution that they want right now. Okay, Chris, was that helpful for you?
It was, yes. Thank you.
Is there a follow-up question to that, or is there a comment?
Nope. Good job.
You good? Okay, good stuff. I just see a message from Patrick. He said he's going to hop off. He's got to go to another workshop. Cool. He said his golden nugget he got from this was that he needs to master digital marketing over sales. Good. At least he picked up something before he walked out of here. Right? Those of you watching on YouTube, in the chat, go ahead and drop it in there because I can see your chat there as well. What is the one thing that you need to focus on that will allow you to get progress? That's what I want to see in your chat. That way I know that this workshop is making a lot of sense. All right. If you're ready, say ready. We go to the second move. And I'm going in depth for you guys here. Again, something that we spend a whole year on, but I'm making sure that you get value. How many of you are getting a lot of value right now from this? Yeah. Okay. How many of you your belief has gotten a little stronger that it's possible to make $10,000? You can see a little clearer that it's possible to make 10 grand now in the next 90 days. Be honest with me. Raise your hand. Okay, good. All right. That's good feedback. Good. All right. We're on the right track then, y'all. Okay. Move number 2. Now, this is what's very important. Again, hindsight, the mistake I made was one of the things that we did is we were being everything to everyone. So we were casting out a net, which was to catch any fish and every fish in the ocean. Okay. But instead, when our mentors knocked us on the head and said, listen up, chucklehead, you need to pick a niche. Pick a niche. If you don't have a niche, you're going to be in trouble. make sure you pick a niche and you hone in on your brand and your target audience. Like, you know, what we were saying, you're trying to figure out the problem and the solution that your product can provide. Yeah, now I said something else there, which was avatar. You remember? This avatar that I was talking about was your niche, was your target audience. Right? So your second move is that you need, so first thing you got to do is you got to master digital marketing. That means you got to get your brand right. That means you got to figure out what the brand is and you got to pick one problem, one solution. But then who are you picking that for? That means now you got to get clear on the target audience. And now your target audience needs to be specific. Somebody say specific. I can't hear you.
Specific.
Specific. There you go. Thank you. Specific. Specificity sells, y'all. Specificity sells all the time. Whether it's a service-oriented business or whether it's a product-oriented business or whether it's a no product, it's like a digital info product, right? Like a course is an info product. It doesn't matter. It needs to be specific to a person. So what is specific? If you said to me, you know, I'm in the space of helping people to create financial freedom using cryptocurrency. Okay, people is not specific because people could mean a man, a woman, in between, a child. It could mean so many things. If I said child, oh, I have a child, does it tell you whether it's a boy or a girl? No, it doesn't. But if I said I have a son, now you know I am a parent of a son. So I have to be specific because if I'm specific, you will understand better. If you understand better and you're clear, that means our communication is going to get tighter. If our communication is going to get tighter, that means everything I say will land and get conveyed better to you. That means you and I will connect better because if it lands and conveys better, you and I will get along really well. That means our rapport will get really strong. And our conversations will be fun. If that's not there, it'll always be vague. And when someone says, "Oh, you caught up with someone?" "Oh, yeah, cool. You said he's a parent." "Oh, he's got kids." You said, "Yeah, he's got kids." "Oh, does he have a son or a boy?" "Oh, I don't know." "Oh, how old are they?" "Oh, I don't know. You didn't say." How many I don't knows do you want to have that leave those loopholes open, which are basically gaps between your relationship with you and Sohan in this example? Does that make sense? So while the world around you in your competition, your peers, your colleagues, your competition, they're all busy chasing people. Your job is to get specific because they don't understand how to master digital marketing. Or you're now beginning to realize going, wait, twin tickets to success is marketing and sales. Marketing is always senior to sales. Okay, great. Well, in that case, if I market well, marketing will sell the product or the service automatically. Great. Well, in that case, I need to make sure that I get specific. Now I get specific and I pick a niche. Who do I want to target? An example of a niche would be C-suite executives making $250,000 to $500,000 in salary per year. Okay. Even more specific, C-suite males with a family of 2 kids and a wife and a paycheck of, $500,000 a year are the people that I want to go and service their pools for. Specific. Okay. Cryptocurrency, network marketing, same thing. Okay. Well, I have a crypto product. I've got a debit card, the world's first decentralized debit card that's coming out. Now, you and I both know, how many of you have a debit card? Wave at the camera if you have a debit card. Okay. We all have a debit card, but we're all from different backgrounds. Okay, well, that's cool. But I don't want to focus on all of you. What if I said, I want to focus on people that are corporate trainers in corporate America and corporate Australia. And I want to focus on female or male corporate trainers in corporate America or corporate Australia. And now I have a niche and I'm going to speak with only these people because they all have debit cards, but at least they're all in one bucket. I can put if I put all the corporate trainers in one room, they have one thing in common. What's that one thing in common? Please unmute and tell me. What do they have in common? Yep. Dirk said it. Just unmute yourself and say it for everybody. I read your lips. I'm going to lip read.
Debit cards.
Correct. What else are they? So good. They got a debit card in common. What else do they have in common as corporate trainers?
That they're
They're corporate trainers. Correct. They're corporate trainers. Right? They have a career in the corporate world. They relate with one another with regards to bureaucracy and red tape and all the BS that happens in the corporate world and all the good stuff that happens in the corporate world, right? So what do you think is going to happen when one corporate trainer meets another corporate trainer in a room? They're going to shake hands. They're going to network. They're going to feel like they belong there because they're meeting one of their own type. Isn't that different to a corporate trainer meeting an entrepreneur who is a pool service guy? Two different worlds, right? Corporate trainer has a 9-to-5 job. A pool service guy has a 12 to 12 job. It's an entrepreneurial life. It's a different world. So they won't connect as easily, even if they share the same one common thing, which is debit cards. But I'm not looking for one common thing. I'm looking for multiple common things because the more there are multiple things between you and me, the more we'll connect. You understand? Like, look at this room right now. All of us are entrepreneurs. Tick, connect. Right? All of us are 10Xers. Tick, connect. All of us want to make $10,000 in 90 days. Tick, connect. All of us use debit cards. Tick, connect. I'm not trying to sell you a debit card. But you see, if I were selling you a debit card, which is the world's first globalized, decentralized card, all of us would have so many things in common that in this room, we could party and kumbaya together right away because we already connect on so many different levels. We're all in for the same thing. So that's the power of getting a niche. And when you get a niche and you pick a niche, and you build your entire brand around for that niche, guess who becomes the go-to person? That's right. You do. When something goes wrong and someone faces that problem that's frustrating, guess who they're going to tell and recommend? You. Because you are specialized, or at least you're known and your branding to be specialized for this type of niche of audience. There might be other people doing it, but you're the specialist. Hey, who gets paid more, the GP or the heart surgeon? Please talk to me.
The heart surgeon.
Who gets paid more? The heart surgeon gets paid more. Yeah, because the heart surgeon is specialized in one thing and one thing only. Heart surgery. Not brain surgery, heart surgery. What does the GP do? GP is focused on so many other overall well-being of yourself. But when it comes to a problem with your heart or your head or your brain, they're not going to do nothing. They're going to refer you to a specialist. The specialist, how many of you know that the specialist is driving a Mercedes S-Class versus the GP is probably driving a Toyota Corolla or maybe a BMW M2 series? Come on, let's be real. I've got nothing against either of the cars, but do you get the drift I'm trying to drive home? Or even better, the specialist has 5 cars in his garage, Ferraris, Porsches, Mercedes, Lambos, but the GP does not even have one of those in his garage. There are exceptions, I agree. But generally speaking, they're general practitioners. Don't be a general practitioner in your business, y'all. Whether you're a network marketer, whether you're an affiliate marketer, whether you're a traditional business owner, whether you're an entrepreneur, stop being a generalist. Start being a specialist. How do you become a specialist, Son? Simple. Pick a niche. How do I pick a niche, Son? It's so hard. Like, I'll be like picking a very tiny amount of people. That's okay. You don't need the whole world. Guys, you don't need 1 million people to become wealthy for you and your families. Get this. When I say wealthy, and I don't think Grant has ever specified this in any way, even though he might have meant it, but this is what it means. This is where one of our mentors, again, chucklehead, question was asked. Do you remember the name of your great grandfather, which is 7 generations deep? I'm like, no, I barely remember my great grandfather's name. Do you guys know your great grandfather's name, who was 7 generations deep? Anyone on the call here? Okay, look around you. No one does. Chances are, ask this question. Have a bit of fun with this question today or tonight or tomorrow. Ask your partners or anyone at home, or tomorrow ask your mates or send them a text message. Hey, do you know your great grandfather's name 7 generations deep? 9 out of 10 times, or 9.9 out of 10 times, they'll say they don't know. Yeah, well, guess why? Because they didn't do anything. I love them, but they didn't do anything enough significantly to leave their name as a legacy till this day. Do you want to be one of those? Sure can if you want to. Or would you rather choose to be that grandfather or grandmother 7 generations deep, where your grandchild remembers you because you created a name, you created a legacy that they remember and they talk about even 7 generations? How many of you would love that? Because wealth is not always in just the money. Wealth is in the significance of the legacy that you create for people. That's the level of thinking you have right now that you need to execute on, y'all. You already have it in you. I'm just bringing it up in front of you from the back of your mind. I'm bringing it in front of you so you can actually implement these things and allow this intention to be, okay, when I'm making $10,000 in 90 days, I'm not just wanting to make $10,000 in 90 days. When I'm trying to go and get affluent customers instead of working with builders, I'm not just trying to get affluent customer service. I'm thinking about the reason this step is going to impact the fact that I want to create the big picture of leaving my name as a legacy for my great, 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 great grandchild or children. If you're with me, wave at the camera. That's what this is about. So your specificity of you focusing on a small group of people is going to have that impact. You don't need 1 million people to create that sort of legacy. Even if you had 10 people and they were waving their flag, raving about you, dude, their lives will change, because on average, each person knows 2,000 people. And if you've impacted 10 people or 50 people only in your niche, and that's all you had, it's going to send out a ripple effect that will allow you to master that one problem, get so great at it that you're a master at it, that will now allow you to make a decision. And you'll know when you know to move on to the second stack to master, which means you might now want to expand your brand and start branding yourself out to the next problem and solution. How many of you are following what I'm saying? That's how you stack it. So you're not going to always be stuck with one niche and one problem. No, you'll reach a point of mastery where you've established your brand for that. And now you're ready to move to being known for the next problem and build your brand and master that brand aspect of your entire brand. Does that make sense? When Grant Cardone started, he was not known for what he's doing right now. The reason why, if any of us goes into, say, Grant Cardone's community, and you guys are in that community, you see a mix of different people. From an income standpoint, there's a mix of everyone. People making zero who are broke to people who are making multi-million dollars. True or true? Wave at the camera if that's true. Okay, the reason that is happening now in 2023 is because Grant has established his mastery at different parts of his brand. He's at a place now that he can cast that wide net to go that far. But we are not there yet. We're on the come up. So while we're on the come up, we got to go back to where Grant started. What did Grant start with first? Grant was known as a salesperson for car dealerships, specifically Toyota. Do you see the niche he went with? When he made it big there, that's when he started going into this, okay, education of sales. But until then, he was not known for that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you got to pick a niche. Questions or comments before we move to number 3? Okay, nothing. Let's do a quick room check, temperature check. What's the biggest, most valuable thing you've gotten so far? We're an hour and a half in. Well, we're an hour and 20 minutes in from the content, real content. What's the most valuable thing you have gotten so far, or an aha moment you have so far?
Picking the niche.
Go ahead. Picking the niche. Okay.
Yeah, how to market and brand yourself in a more specific way.
Yep. Yeah. Go in.
For me, it's to master digital marketing. Digital. Yep, I said that finally. Yeah.
Yeah. Master it. Don't learn it. Master it. Get so great at it that you become the queen of digital marketing in your niche. Right? People got to go, hey, when the first thing they think of the digital marketing for, say, affiliate marketers in, for example, specific crypto, Annie Howard. That's the name that needs to step up. It has to be literally there. Like when you think of burgers, what's the name that comes up for you guys? When you think of hamburgers, what's the name that comes up for you? Like who's known in the world for hamburger or burgers? I'm not talking about good burgers. I'm just talking about burgers because that's an argument.
McDonald's,
Right? Correct. But you all know that McDonald's has the crappiest burgers compared to any other burger joint in the world, let alone gourmet burgers. Wave of the camera.
Yep.
Yeah. Yet they have a brand so strong. Yeah. So you guys know, like, you know, best known beats the best. That's why it's easier to get known. Tell me, is it easier to get known amongst 10 people or 100 people? Is it easier to get known amongst 100 or 10 quicker? Which one's quicker? 10 or 100? 10. Exactly. So when you're picking a niche, one of the biggest problems that entrepreneurs have or solopreneurs have is they get fearful. They get worried about, oh, but you know, if I pick a niche and then I'm soon narrowing down, then I'm working with a very small group of people. They feel the fear of missing out on the rest of the population. And I'm here to tell you that you will make way more money with a small group of people than you would make with a big group of people. Concentrate on the small community of people. Don't build customers, build communities. Is it easier to get known and is it faster to get known amongst 100 people compared to 1,000 people? Which one's faster? 100. So we can all find 100 people within our niche to be able to solve the problem using our product that we have, that our product provides as a solution. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go to number 3 now. Let's move a little faster. Okay, then I would create a new social media account. Keyword, new social media account. And I would post 3 times a day. I would post content 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and night. Once in the morning, before you go to work, once in the afternoon, during lunchtime or afternoon, and once in the evening after you come back from work or, you know, around dinner time. Okay, why? Because people are sitting at the dining table and they're surfing the internet. You might be guilty of doing that yourself. In the name of finding something important. Right? Trying to research the name of a song. Right? We're all doing that. So you just have to literally go, right, what's the right time when people, when is my audience? Not the world. When is my niche? When are they online in the morning, afternoon, and at night? And that's when I need to put my stuff in front of them. Right? 3 times a day. Okay? 3 times a day. And your content has to be specific to your audience. And niche. It has to be specific. Okay? Question, Annie? Yep. Did you raise your hand for a question? No, you didn't. Okay. So.
No, I was showing this bee away from me.
Oh.
In the garden.
That's a good sign. That means you got some sign-ups coming your way today. That's what's happening. So When you're focused on creating a new social media channel, and pick one, yeah? Pick whichever one it is. Now, how do I know which channel to pick, Sohan? Well, where is your niche, your audience? Where are they? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? And you might say, well, I don't know. Well, first get clear on the reason you might say, I don't know, is because you don't know clearly as to who you're going after. But I promise you, I can guarantee you, you will know the answer. That if you're looking for someone who is, say, middle-aged, in the mid-50s, and if they have a job that's making them about $350,000 to $500,000 a year, and they live in an affluent suburb, they drive a decent, I don't know, E-Class, or a C-Class Mercedes, or a Porsche Macan, or Cayenne. The chances are they will be on Instagram. The chances are they will be on Facebook, or the chances that they'll be on TikTok. Yeah. So you just got to identify which one. But you might be like, oh, but Sohan, I'm not on TikTok. I hate TikTok. Well, I got news for you. It's not about you and me. It's about the people we want to serve at the highest. So the way we do that is we make sure we show up where they congregate. So if they're showing up on TikTok, you show up on TikTok. Create a brand new social media account on TikTok, right? With 0 followers. If they show up on Instagram, then your job is to make sure you create a brand new social media account on Instagram and start fresh. Brand yourself that way. Oh, but Sohan, I already have an account. Great. Use that one. Jump on today and announce, hit the live button and say, hey guys, from now on today, this is what's going to happen. We've made some executive decisions in our business and we've made some choices. And this is some of the decisions we made. We're going to be focusing on solving this problem for this audience living in this environment or in this location. That's what we're focused on. And the content that I'm going to give is about this solution to this problem. So if that's you already, stick around, drop a comment, let me know that's you. And if that's not you, you're more than welcome to stick around, or you can unfollow my page. It's totally cool. But I wanted to jump on and make the time to let you guys know. I want to be thankful and grateful for all the journey that you've been witnessing up until this point. And moving forward, so you know where I'm at, just in case you don't wonder why I'm talking about something completely different to what I was talking before. This is what's happening. So that's option 1. Or option 2, if you don't want to go through all that hassle, just create a brand new account and start your brand new page with that brand specific to the problem you're trying to solve for that niche or that target audience. That's what you do. You post 3 times a day with your content. I'll give you an example. One of these people in our communities, she used to make millions of dollars in her previous business, but she had never sold anything that was a digital product or an info product. Okay. By the way, if you're not selling an info product right now, you're making the biggest mistake of your life as an additional stream of income. It's insane, right? But it comes down to first mastering digital marketing, regardless of what the product is. So she comes across this. She was doing the side hustle. Have you guys seen the side hustle videos on Instagram or TikTok? You haven't seen side hustle videos? Okay. There are these people that just typing stuff or they're doing something and they have these blobs that are popping up with text saying that, okay, well, if you want, you can make $300 a day with filling out this survey, or $300 an hour, fill up the survey. I'll show you how to, that's called a side hustle video. Okay. Okay. So she used to do those kind of things. She was okay with that. She used to hate it because it didn't align with her. Anyway, as an entrepreneur, she comes across this digital product that she could sell and keep 100% profits. So she decided she was going to create a brand new Instagram account, not use her existing one, and she was going to document as her content. And that is an important piece. You have to write this down. Document. Documentation beats content creation. So when people say post 3 times a day of content, start documenting your content. What do I mean by documenting your content? Behind the scenes stuff. So let's say, Chris, you're writing up a contract, right? Film that with your phone. Okay, film the contract. Don't film the contents of the contract, obviously, but film yourself for 15 seconds, like you making the contract. Let people see what's happening behind the scenes, and just put a text on it, or you can speak to it, right? Because people prefer that more. But if you don't want to show up on camera, and you don't want people to hear your voice, which, by the way, if you're dealing with affluent people, they want to deal with the person involved, so you want to be able to show up and be there. So just let them know, writing up a contract right now, it's worth X amount of dollars, and we're doing this kind of work for these clients. That's it. If there's an NDA, obviously respect that, but you can generally speak about it. And just 15 seconds of that allows people to get a peek into what's happening in your world, in your business, right? Cleaning the pool. Your guys are cleaning the pool. Do a quick 15, 30 seconds of cleaning the pool and finding something that's a niggling issue. Just film that, post that, right? Your affluent customers have the same problem. They're looking at it, right? Let's say you're taking the kids. You got kids? I'm sure you got kids. Yeah. If you're going out to the shopping center with the kids on the weekend, yeah, film that. 15 seconds, 30 seconds of that, and make it relevant to your niche. Again, it's got to be relevant and specific to your audience and niche. Okay, don't just post random, right? Relate it back. Always relate it back. Write this word, relevance. Make it relevant to the problem you're trying to solve. Always make it relevant. And sometimes make it irrelevant. But most times keep it relevant. Does that make sense? Okay, but if you're most times irrelevant and sometimes relevant, it's not going to fly. People are nosy. They want to see your personal life. That's just the nature. That's why reality TV sells like hotcakes. And some of you might like some of these reality TV shows yourselves. Okay, I don't watch TV, so I can't comment on that. But I know I used to before, and there were reality. Oh, I remember growing up. Mom and Dad used to love Bold and the Beautiful. Oh my God, and Dynasty. Oh my God, do you guys remember that time? When the Bold and the Beautiful and Dynasty, and your parents were hooked onto the TV for that, and we got hooked on as kids. We were watching from the corner of the room, and we'd get told off to go to bed because it was at an odd hour. But that's reality TV. That's also a TV show. These are things that people like because the Bold and Beautiful was like trying to take concepts that were. Some of it was fanatical, some of it was fantasy, and some of it was real. And so it had a combination of all that made it addictive for people. So people would watch that. Now reality TV came into play, and all of a sudden reality TV was just all real, even though you and I both know nothing's real. It's all planned and there's a script involved. Some parts are real, but most parts of it are just scripted. People like watching that kind of stuff that seems real, right? They love looking over the other person's fence to see what's going on there. So you want to give people that, you want to feed their nosy Parker business. So you're going out for dinner with your wife or your husband or your friends or your brother or your sister. Film that, put that on, make it relevant back to what the problem is that you're solving. So in Annie's case, she's talking about financial freedom. She's talking about cryptocurrency. Great. If you go and buy a new pair of runners for yourself, Annie, go ahead and film yourself buying that for 15 seconds or 30 seconds, buying the pair, and then say, man, thanks to my crypto lifestyle, this crypto just bought me, or this, when the Flip Me card comes out, you can say, these shoes were bought with the Flip Me card, right? Now that's easy to do. But in the meantime, what do you do when that card is not there? Well, you say, here's my crypto lifestyle, right? Driving a bus didn't give me that, which this crypto gave me that. Like you can vary it up. Same with, if you're going and buying trainers, Chris can do the same thing. Chris can buy a pair of shoes while he's buying his pair of Nikes. He can film that and he can go, man, like you can make it relevant, but you can go, you bet buying these Nike shoes are way easier than dealing with that pool leak. Like something like that. Do you know what I mean? But it's relevant at the same time because you're showing people the real side of you buying your shoes. At the same time, you're making it relevant to talk about the leak in the pool. Right? Or you could find a hole in your shoe. You're that guy who wears his shoes till they actually get worn out. Find a hole in the shoe and talk about a hole in the bucket. Like, make it real. That's called documentation. Document your real life. Okay? Document the preparation for the preparation. That's your content. That will get more views, that will get more engagement, in the sense of people interacting with you and wanting to work with you than you preparing to say, okay, great. So I want to talk to you now in the next 15 minutes about the 3 things you need to do about X, Y, and Z of how you can solve your problem in your pool. There is place for that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but I'm saying 3 times a day content on one of these platforms like Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube Shorts or TikTok. Pick one platform and make that your primary, and the rest of them just syndicate the same video on the other platforms. But use one channel as the primary channel. Does that make sense? Questions or comments? No questions, no comments? Okay. A comment could be something you learned, something that you had as an aha as well. No? Okay, let's go to number 4. The 4th one is, and this is the second last one, right? The 4th move is provide value in your content and your email campaigns. Okay. Oh, but Sohan, I don't have an email campaign. Well, get a system that will give you the email campaigns, right? We've got a course that's $497. It teaches you everything you need to know about digital marketing from start to finish, including email campaigns, including email templates, all of it for $497. And you can keep that for the rest of your life. Plus, you can access a community of 10,000 people that are like you, beginners in digital marketing, racking their heads, banging it and masterminding it together to figure out how they can really make the best out of their mastery in digital marketing. And they're getting it. Take that course, apply it, implement it. But you cannot live another 24 hours of saying, I don't have an email campaign. Because what happens when someone says, hey, I'm interested in wanting to work with you? Why are you putting in your manual precious time of manually trying to follow up with people on the DM? When you can have an email template that's there when someone's expressed their interest once, as simple as liking your post, where your emails can be triggered off and you can start sending them an email just to keep them reminded of something that's coming up that you don't have to do manually. All of a sudden, you can have 10 people in a room instead of 1. And you can over deliver by making, if you had the time, now you can manually send them a DM and say, hey, we're getting started. Hey, we're sending you this. Hey, we're doing that. You can manually do that too, because you'll have that extra time because the automation is done for you. Right? But provide value of the content. So what is value? What do I mean by value? Provide value in your content. What do you guys understand? Please explain that to me, because everyone has a different understanding. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Chris, what's that for you? What do I mean by value in your content?
It's something that they can use in their life.
Right. Good. Close. Very good. Something that they can use in their life. Yep. Annie?
For me, it would always be something that they can relate to.
Something that they can relate to. You both are almost right. Value in content is when they can transform their life with the content you give them. Keyword, transform. Not inform. Transform. That's why I'm not a big fan of webinars. You know, where people go to webinars and they get all this information. And usually the speaker is all about them, their product, their company, their product, their company, their product. You've seen that? How many of you have attended webinars like that? It's all about my company, my product, my company, my product, my features, my benefit. Yeah. It means jack to the person sitting on the other end, because they're taking all this information and they don't even know where to start, poor souls. How is it going to impact them? So what happens usually when we get overwhelmed with information? What do we tend to do, guys?
Just shut down.
That's it. Shut down, not off, forget about it, right? We do nothing. So how do we move someone from doing nothing to doing that one thing that's going to change their life? Not something, that one thing that's going to change their life. Create transformation. Well, simple. Give them transformation in your content. That means the value of your content is decided by them, not you. So when I created this mini workshop, it wasn't based on what I think in our experience as running a company for 25 years that is going to be valuable to you. No. This was based on what you, as an audience, said to us that this is what we need, not just want. We need it now so that we can make $10,000. We need to know how to brand ourselves. We've heard enough of it, but we don't know how. We've got the information, but how do we transform ourselves? Well, I've just given you what you can do. So moving someone from point A to B, even if the distance between A and B is short, is a transformation. Why? Because you have broken the trans that they're in, and you've created and formed a new trans that they're on, which is B, destination B. How many of you are picking up what I'm putting down? Wave at the camera. If it's not making sense, ask me. I'm more than happy to tell you why. When you're putting out your content, so for example, if I'm dealing with pool services, let's say in Chris, again, I'm using Chris as an example here. He's dealing with affluent people. He wants to make a change. Give them a practical solution in your, show them, don't give them, show them. Please jot this word down, show. Show, don't tell. Show. Show them what they need to do to fix a broken or a chipped tile. Show them. And show them a simple way of doing it that they don't need to call you for. Because I'll tell you what, when you solve one problem, it creates a new problem. When there's a new problem, who are they going to come to? You. Who are they going to think of? Chris. Why? Because Chris solved the first problem in the first place. So he's good. He's reliable. He knows what he's talking about. Oops, I got to reach out to Chris and look for more content on Chris. Right? That's what I'm saying. Show people the value that they find valuable, not what you think is valuable. Okay, Flip Me Card in the crypto space. Okay, Flip Me Card is great. I see it valuable because you can now exchange crypto, fiat, and cryptocurrency, and you'll solve the problem and the frustration of having to buy crypto from my banks because our banks keep blocking stuff out. I know my camera's gone off, but you can still hear me nice and clear, and I'll come back in a tick. But guess what? That's what I feel is valuable. That's not what they think is valuable. Maybe what's valuable to them is different. Maybe what's valuable to them is to do with a debit card, period. Just having a debit card that they can use to spend money on. Or maybe I'm targeting an audience that is trying to find a way to unbank themselves and not pay taxes unnecessarily. Maybe that's who they are. So do you think it's more valuable for me to speak about my Flip Me Card to that audience about the fact that now with this Flip Me Card, they don't have to worry about paying taxes, even though I'm not giving them any tax advice, but it's because it's cryptocurrency. It is on the blockchain. It is not in the system. Therefore, it cannot be taxed because they're not converting it into fiat currency because it's valuable to them. So again, it goes back to me knowing my niche and my audience, and then I'm being relevant in talking about that and showing them how it'll benefit them, because that'll be more valuable and they can then take action to transform their life. And a simple task of going from, hey, I don't have a debit card, to I need to sign up to get one, and signing up and waiting on the wait list for the next 30 days, that's a transformation. I moved them from point A to B. You get it? So you need to, in order for you to deliver that value to your in your content and your emails, you need to make sure that you show them, don't tell them, but you got to also know who you're speaking with and what problem you're solving for them. One problem you're solving for them. Is this useful? Okay, so back to that story I was telling you about this lady. She created a brand new Instagram account. She knew exactly, she picked a niche. Okay, she created a brand new account. She decided she was going to build a brand around wealth. She gave up the side hustle thing. She said, I'm going to help mothers build a part-time business and create wealth in their family. And I'm going to show them how they can do what I'm doing with the help of digital marketing using a digital info product. So she was so crystal clear. She started documenting her content 3 times a day And she was literally documenting. She was going, okay, today's day 1, day 2, day 3, day. She kept doing that in a brand new Instagram account that she created. And something miraculous happened for her. In 4 months, she made $1 million in sales. How many of you would like to make in 4 months $1 million? Wave at the camera. Okay. Brand new Instagram account. 0 followers. No one knew. Brand new product line. No experience in digital marketing. Beginner. Followed these 4 steps. And then she followed the 5th step. You ready? She simply did the math. She set a target. She knew that she wanted to make 10 grand. She knew that her digital product was $500. So all she needed was 20 customers. And that would give her $10,000. So she took that 20 and she broke that down because she wanted, obviously she wanted 10,000 in 90 days. So she worked that out and she said, well, that's roughly around 6 to 7 customers or offers, whatever you want to say, what do you want to call it, per month. So you can literally, so that's how, by the way, 3 to 4 months, that was her initial plan. But I said to you that in 4 months, in the first 4 months, not in 4 months, in the first 4 months, she crossed $1 million, y'all. She didn't make 10,000. She made $1 million with this formula and these 5 moves. Can you guys do these 5 moves, wave at the camera and tell me that it's possible? Yeah. Is it complicated, what I've just shared with you, these 5 moves? No. Well, is it actionable? Yes. The only thing you have in question is, are you willing to take action? Question is, can you? Are you capable of making these moves? Let's be honest. Give me straight talk. These 5 moves we spoke about. Let's go through them again really quickly. So you master digital marketing. Then the second move is you brand yourself. That's part of mastering. So you brand yourself. Second move is you pick a niche, target audience, get specific. The third thing you do is you create a brand new social media account and pick one channel. Post 3 times a day, right? Put your content out there in the form of documenting, specific to your audience and your target, your niche and your product. 4, provide what? Value, right? Show them. Provide value in your content and your email campaigns. And 5th, set a target. You want 10. Let's say your offer was $500 worth, whether it's a service or a product. If you don't have a service that's $500, create one. Create it. You know the beauty about service? Chris is in a great place. Why? Because he's service-oriented business. His margins are amazing. They're not tiny margins. They're like 50, 60, 70%, even more maybe, right? He's got good margins. And with service-oriented businesses, we can play with margins and we can increase them. So you can easily create a $500 offer, a $500 service, and you just need 20 of those in the next 3 months, which basically means you need to sell 6 or 7 of those per month to these affluent people. To affluent people, $500 service is chop change. True or true, Chris? Yeah. And if you build your brand around that one problem that this offer can solve, and you get known for that, mate, you don't have to worry about making $10,000. I can assure you, you can make way more. You can probably make like Frankie, you'll end up making $1 million as well in 4 months. Right? It's not hard to do it all. In fact, it's easier to make more money in less amount of time, contrary to what we've been trained to believe. We've been told that, oh, if you want to make a lot of money in a short period of time, you have to work really hard. Well, working really hard does only one thing. What happens if you work really hard all day, all night? What happens to you? Physically, emotionally, what happens? Yeah.
Get tired.
Yeah, you get tired. Stop getting tired, yo. You don't have to. The cat's out of the bag. You don't have to work hard. You just literally have to work smart. Get smart. Don't work hard. Those days are gone. The industrial age is gone of labor work. Now you got to use strategic mindset to be able to create the wealth you want to create. The proof is in the pudding. It's right here. You know, if you went to Instagram right now and looked at the number of people that are trying to make it without any direction, you will turn around and go, oh my God, I'm so blessed. I have a direction of 5 simple moves that I have to make. I make these 5 moves, life is going to change. Right? So, like, if you, this is what I would strongly suggest. If you put this into play and you run this play, you will make 10K, if not more, in the next 90 days. Because it's proven and tested and trialed by this, by the way, this strategy that I've given you and these tactics and steps I've given you, don't tell anyone, but this is $3 million in sales that has already been created in a community of 10,000 people. It's already been done and counting. That means it's proven, it's tested, and it's perfected. Now it's just waiting for you to implement. We implement it, we'll get the result because it's done for other people, and it's done it in all walks of life. Yeah, it's not designed for just one specific type of person. This is something that any business can apply. Chris, are these 5 moves applicable to you and your company in your industry? Can you build a brand?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you create a social media account? Brand new one. Correct. Can you post 3 times a day in content?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Question is whether you will or not. That's a different thing. But you know you can. You're capable of it, right? Like, you're aware of it. You know intellectually. You know how to use social media fairly. So you know you're capable of it, right? So you can. Okay, that's good. Do you know that you can provide value to people as you have been so far because you've been making an income already with builders? Yeah, you have been. Okay. So if you're providing value to builders, you can provide value to affluent people too, can't you? If you've done it once, you can do it again, couldn't you?
Well, how do I get page noticed by?
How do I get so when you create a page on social media, and this is where that $500 course actually teaches you all that. Go get that. That'll actually give you step by step, and you can actually work through. But I'll give you a rundown on it. Whenever we create social media videos, right? When we put text on there or whatever we say in the video, if it is, that's why I said the content has to be specific to your niche, your audience, target audience. When we say words that are specific in our content to our audiences, when we type texts and captions, the algorithms or call it the bots of the platform, whether it's Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, whatever platform it is, they pick up on that and they present your information, show your videos to those people looking for that solution, those affluent people looking for that solution. Does that make sense?
It does. Okay.
So if you're worried about, I'm still here. It's just my camera is getting excited and overheated. So with the excitement, but that's what happens. So that's why it's important to post relevant content in your documentation, because otherwise, if it's not relevant, you'll attract the wrong crowd, right? So does that answer your question in terms of getting people to notice your page or your account?
It does.
Yeah. And the biggest frustration, this is where people don't teach us that in the beginning, at least they didn't teach me in the beginning, was I'm just posting, and I'm not getting as many views as I want. My expectations are up there, but I'm not seeing the results as I would expect. I'm not getting the views or the likes or the shares as much I would like. Well, you don't have to worry about that, because it's like anything else. When you're going to the gym and you're trying to do push-ups, can you do 100 push-ups in your first go? No. When you start with one and you're barely doing one, but then what helps you to get to the second one? Consistency and persisting to go in and do it again. True. So you persist and you go back and you try and do the second one. Now you did the first one, you just barely managed to get the second one in. Cool. But then again, you persist and you persist and you persist and you persist and persist. And every day as you persist, you keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Do you realize you get stronger and stronger and stronger? And now you've gone from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Before you know it, you reach 10 push-ups. Before you know it, you've got to 15 push-ups. Before you know it, you've gone to 20 push-ups. Before you know, you've got to 30 push-ups, 40 push-ups, 50 push-ups, and then 100. It happens over a period of time, but it happened only because you didn't quit. I was saying this to our community yesterday. If you're going to quit when things are going great. Don't quit when things are not going great. Because when things are not going the way you want them to go, if you're not seeing them the way you want them to go, guess what? They're actually working on you, even if you're seeing that they're not working for you. Because God's working on you at that moment. Because you cannot have what you're not willing to be to keep that. That's why people who win the lottery, they go broke, because they have never learned how to earn and sustain that amount of money. So they end up going broke, because they haven't become the kind of person to know what to do with $1 million. But someone who has earned their way to $1 million will know how to manage that money. True or true? Wave the camera if that makes sense. Yeah. Why did you not make $100,000 in your first day of your career? Compared to today, you're making 6 figures already in your company. Why? Because you were not the person you were when you first started out in your company, in your business, in your career. But over a period of years, you've learned, you've made mistakes, but you did one thing. You persisted. Write this down, y'all. Persistence pays. So you will see, if you persist enough with your content 3 times a day, if you keep it relevant and you're documenting and not just creating content, and if you persist enough and not quit and never quit and finish what you started, which means you finish the mastery of your digital marketing journey, I promise you, you will see that success. Like Fran. She never gave up. She started from a 0 account, yo. 0 account, 0 experience, 0 product. Just went all in, just used the product. That same course, which teaches exactly how to master digital marketing. She applied and applied and applied. She didn't challenge. She didn't turn around and say, oh, I know it. She didn't play the familiar zone. She didn't say, I know it all. She put on her white belt. You know, part of growth is you learning how to put on your white belt and saying, hey, I'm putting on my white belt today. I'm ready to do whatever it takes. Not I'm ready to do my best. I'm ready to do whatever it takes. She was ready to do whatever it takes to put on a white belt, apply every bit of that digital marketing in that course. And guess what? She made way more than $10,000 in 4 months. She made $1 million. You can too. So if you want access to that course and if you want to know what's in there, you're more than welcome to go ahead and click that banner up there that you see on your screen. You can go ahead and check out that course. It's $500. I think it's under $500. But, you know, I say this to all my friends or in business. I say, you got to really suck in business to not make $500 to recover at the end of 12 months from now. I don't care what business you're in. So, you know, people lose $500 in a month and they don't even question it. We all blow up $500 on random stuff. Shoes, cars, buses, whatever you name it. We spend our money on. We spend $500 that. Why not spend that $500 in mastering digital marketing that can allow us to make $10,000 in the next 90 days? it's a no-brainer to me. Okay. So if you want information, you're more than welcome to go ahead and check that out and see how you can apply it. If you like it, if it resonates, if it aligns with you, grab it and start applying. One thing I can guarantee you, there will be a community of 10,000 people waiting to welcome you. There will be weekly calls. There will be one-on-one available to you if you get stuck with something. There will be weekly one-on-one. There will be weekly group mentorship where you can get questions answered if you do want to. But it will bring you to that place where you'll have a step-by-step pragmatic course. So all our high-level stuff that we get in marketing essential workshops, etc., now is dumbed down into the nitty-gritty, take action, step-by-step stuff to do. It's not. Please don't expect that course to be another course where you will put on the shelf and see the end of it later on. No. This is not a theory-based course. It's a purely practical-based course. If you are an action taker, that course is for you. If you are only a theory information gatherer, don't get that course. Save your $497. That I'm telling you that right now, because that is a place where action takers are money makers. Okay. Anyway, let's just shift gears. Come back to me with this. Ask me questions or most valuable thing you got so far with these 5 moves. Who's got a question?
Well, I think the niche and the mastering the digital marketing are the 2 biggest takeaways.
Yeah. Okay.
Me too.
Yeah. That's good. The niche
Well, I
and the
have a
digital
question, I
marketing-
guess, about
digital marketing.
the new social media account. Do I need to get a new one? You think everybody needs to, or no?
Depends. What's your current? Which one do you currently use? Let's bring it up here. Would you like me to bring it up here and give you a bit of audit?
Sure. On Instagram?
On Instagram? Okay. So
Yeah,
you're
is
on
that what
Insta?
Yes. It's pool
Yeah,
underscore.
whichever one you're most active on. Is that the one you're most active on?
Yes, pool underscore
Let's bring it
guardian.
up. Let's look it up. Come on, search.
And you'll see that I do not post 3 days.
You're about to change that, aren't you? That's why you're here in this room. That's what called you here. What was it? Pool.
And then underscore guardians.
Pool underscore guardians. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is your story. Pool Nations Awards nominees, Pool Girl of the Year. Where did it go? Let's try and get it back. I think I clicked on the stories. That's why it went to your story directly. Clicked on it. I apologize. My internet's really slow. Okay, so we've got posts. There's a video. It's good. You're posting videos. I like that. Pool perfection delivered. Sparkling.
Makes you wanna jump in, crack open a cold one, take a sip.
Can you guys hear the audio as well of the video?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, good. As long
Like
as-
summertime and the days are golden. Talking stop living life forever young.
Okay, so would you like me to give you some coaching on this one?
Sure.
Cool. So great example of showing instead of telling. Only difference is now you got to add on this a video like this. What I would do is I would add a caption, and I would say what you've got written over there, which is Pool Perfection Delivered. I would just have that in the caption, right? Pool
You mean on
Perfection
top of the
Delivered.
video?
And no, right in the middle of the video. Like I would put a text on
Right.
there,
That's what I meant.
and I would
Right,
just
okay.
say Pool Perfection. Yeah. And I would have call or DM me when you're ready. See, that's not urgency, right?
Mhm.
Because this is not specific to a problem that they're frustrated with. So we need to know, okay, what is the frustration? Because here's the thing that people don't, like businesses don't understand. When are there more people that don't know you in this world, or there are people that know you in this world?
More do not know me.
Correct. So they're called cold audiences in marketing. Okay, this is applicable to any niche, any industry, for any business. Even affiliate marketers, network marketers, they go through the same challenge. So you got to remember that there are more people that don't know who you are compared to those that know you. So if they don't know who you are, why will they trust you? Right? Even if you were the best in the world, they wouldn't trust you just yet. Okay.
Right.
So the only way this is the first time they're coming across you. So the way to get their attention is to speak to their problem, especially that one problem that they're frustrated about, that's keeping them up at night and is in front of mind day and night. And when you can speak to that problem and saying you're struggling with this, well, guess what? Let me show you the solution to that. All of a sudden, you will change their attention span, and they will go from not knowing you, not wanting to care about you, to all of a sudden paying attention to what you're saying because you're appealing to them, you're engaging them, and you're connecting with them because you're speaking about their problem that they're so frustrated about day and night, and you're giving them a solution to it too. You're talking about the problem and you're giving them the pill in the very same video. So all of a sudden, from someone who doesn't know you, now they're wanting to take interest in you, and they will pay a little more attention to you than before if you hadn't to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this, for example, this video is about solution. It's Pool Perfection Delivered, but it's not speaking about the problem that this audience, is facing, right? But if you turn around, and of course there is a problem somewhere in here, you just have to go and identify what was that problem that they were facing and speak to that problem so that other similar people that wants a pool perfection delivered like this can pay attention to you. You need to speak to them, and you need to literally speak in the video, and or you need to also have some captions on there so that the algorithms of Instagram can pick that up and send more people to you. Because the algorithm will look at this information anyway that you've got written over here, but it will also look at the information written on the screen or spoken in the video. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay.
And I'm glad you're using hashtags. When you're using hashtags again, so you're using Tampa Pool Service, right? Now this is something that is Google friendly because people search for pool issues and they'll look for in Tampa, Florida. People in the Tampa area will go Tampa Pool Service, or they'll go pool service near me. Yeah, but when you're looking at Instagram, you want to create hashtags more pertaining to your niche, your target audience, and the problem that they're facing. So what's the one problem you solved by delivering this perfect pool?
I don't know. I mean, everybody wants clear water, and that's what I mean, it's the safe water. See, I look at it more of safe and sanitary and all that stuff. But I don't think people really equate it that way.
There you go. That's great. That's great insight.
So, I mean,
that's great realization.
Like balanced water is really very important. That's how you keep a surface looking its best for as long as you can. So, but they don't know that either.
Is there an audience?
Pardon me?
Sure. And is there an audience out of curiosity, is there an audience for mineral pools? Is that growing, you think? Is that coming up?
There might be. Well, what I would prefer is ozone systems with a high-powered ozone system. But the only people who would do that, they have to be very health conscious and have a little bit of money. Because the systems are about 30,000 to put in, but
And so,
it's the best you can have.
sure. Sure. And that's better than mineral pools, you mean?
It is, yes.
Okay, great. So someone like us would be your target audience because we don't want to take our son into a pool that's chlorinated, right? We don't want, or we wouldn't go swimming in a chlorinated pool. So our next best option is to look for a pool that is a mineral pool.
Right. Or ozone. So ozone oxidizes and there's
or ozone.
byproducts. So, but we can talk about that later.
Cool. So there you go. So maybe this is an opportunity for you to look at going, say that again. Sorry, I missed that.
I said we can talk about that later. The ozone.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's an opportunity now for you to look at your niche of the affluent people. Because you want to pick that niche and you're going to look for that, it's a good opportunity for you to turn around and say, great, what is it that they're looking for? What's the one problem that they want to solve? I'm sure you'll solve it, but you just need to know what that one problem is. And then you go ahead and say, right, that seems to be the one that they're frustrated about all the time. And that's the one I'm going to be able to target with my service that I have to offer. And I'm going to create a 500, like in this example, you can create $1,000 offer. It doesn't matter, right? But if you want an easy bite, like if you created a $500 offer just for simple mathematical calculations, you need about 6 or 7 of those offers not put out, but to get those, and you'll be able to make your $10,000 and make sure that you banked it. And then it's not just for the sake of the $10,000, but also it becomes a test trial run for you to see, okay, well, how did that perform? How did this offer of $500 perform compared to other services that I've offered before? Right? And if it worked for 20 customers, now I'm going to up the price, right? It's going from $500 to $10,000 or $1,000. You can always up the price, right? In fact, when you're selling that $500 offer for the first 20 people, you can say this, I'm going to change the price. It's going to go up. I don't know how much it's going to be increased to, but I'm going to increase it for sure. But the first 20 that come in are going to get it for $500, right? For you, it's a test. But for them, it's an opportunity to be able to save some money. And affluent people are not interested in saving money. They're interested in making sure that they get the problems fixed. So you can solve their problem as long as it is frustrating and you can give them the answer to it. And it's $500. They will not sneeze because when customers, regardless of affluent or not, when a consumer, by the way, this is part of the Mastery digital course, but I'm giving that to you now. Listen carefully now. When your audience can see that your value that you're giving, that means the solution to their problem, is this more valuable and the money that they're spending is this much, they'll sign up like that. But they need to see that the value is this much and the money they're spending for it is this much. If they see that the value they're getting is this much and the money is this much or this much, they're not going to come to you, even if their problem is frustrating. Does that make sense?
It does. So what is your biggest fear, or why would you not use a chlorinated pool?
Because chlorine is bleach and it's chemical and it's toxic chemical and it's bad for our skin, and our skin is the largest organ of the body, and I don't want those toxins because we're very healthy people. We do our best to be able to be healthy, and our number one challenge is going in that water. We're not itchy, none of that happens, but we just know that it's seeping through our pores and it's going into the body, and that can cause illnesses, fatal illnesses down the track in adulthood, let alone in childhood. And we want to avoid that because we eat healthy food, we eat organic food, and we respect our skin, we respect our body. So we want to swim in a pool that is not chlorinated.
Okay. Just trying
and
to get
I
some
love the way
data.
you asked it because now you got some data, right? And there are people, I'm getting goosebumps as I say this because you've already started implementing. That's fantastic. That's what I'm talking about. Right? You're an action taker because action takers are money makers. So yeah, you asked this question to you're 20 conversations away from getting your niche sorted out and getting your brand sorted out. 20 conversations. 20, that's it. You talk to 20 people, get committed today. In the next 24 hours, shoot a message or send an email and ask 20 affluent people that question. What's the number one challenge when it comes to maintaining your pool? Right? Or when it comes to swimming in healthy water, or whatever you want to ask them with regards to the solution. Let's see what they say. 20 conversations give you enough data to build your brand. And then go ahead and create a social media account. So I wouldn't, you don't have to create. In your case, I can keep that, but it won't hurt you to create a brand new account and maintain this one as well, right? Reason is, it's not like you've got a gazillion followers. You've got a decent amount. You've got 1,577 people on there, but how many of those are your customers?
No customers follow me.
Correct. Okay. So we need to remember that we want to get more customers following us, which is a community. And they can be customers later down the track, but they're also customers now in the sense that you got immediate customers, you got future customers. So you got your future perfect client and you got your current perfect client. All of those can be a mix of people in your community as your followers. So whenever you're thinking of followers, it doesn't matter whether I have 5 followers, 10 followers, 100, but if my followers are my customers or consumers, then that's worth me having that channel. You understand what I mean? So don't ever get carried away with people's, followership and you see millions of followers. It doesn't matter because they might be influencers, but they might be broke influencers, and you don't want to be a broke influencer, right? Better to have 100 people as followers who are your customers, who are consuming your content. They may not all be paid customers now, but they are your paying potential customers for your future. They are following you. So how do you create that? Well, easy. Start from scratch. Create a brand new account and intentionally build your brand around that niche, messaging around that niche. And you have a fresh start from now, from today, from tonight, or from tomorrow. And don't worry about the one you currently have. You can keep that. You can just, whatever you create on the new one, just put it on this one as well. You're good. Okay. Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah.
Was it helpful? That's good. That's good. Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay, that's good. One of the questions that I get asked is, with this course, if I take this course, Sohan, I want to get my money back if I don't make any income. And I say to them, it's $500. You sneeze in a month and you lose $500. You're in business to make an impact, create an influence, and generate an income. In the next 12 months, you're telling me you will not make $500 and you will not market, you will not sell. And they go, no, we will. And I go, well, I think the answer is in your question. So I don't think you need a refund. I think you need an income. I think they go, well, what if I get a refund? I said, what if it did work for you? What if instead of a refund, you got some revenue? And they go, I said, yeah. You ask the wrong questions, you'll get the wrong answers. You write the right questions, you get the right answers. Most people are questioning, going, well, what if it doesn't work for me? Well, I say, well, ask the right question. Because if you ask that question, what if it doesn't work for me? What if mastering digital marketing doesn't work out and I'm wasting my time? Well, you're going to get all the answers that are relevant to that question. And it's going to make you get frustrated or make you fearful, and you're not going to take action because you can get overwhelmed. But then I ask the right question and I go, well, what if it worked out? What if I made $10,000 in 90 days? What if I made $1 million like that woman in 4 months? Right? What if I did that? What will happen then? What if I get joint venture partnerships that come from this? Now you'll get different answers that are more aspiring, something that you're looking forward to, that gets you excited, gets you G'd up, and wants you to take action, because action takers are money makers. So ask the right questions, get the right answers. Yeah. Okay, let's wrap this puppy up. one most valuable thing you got out of this that is going to transfer, that you're going to apply. What are you going to do to apply? Let's start with Andy. Ladies first. Where we go. And by the way, YouTube, you guys can drop it in the chat as well. What's the one thing you're going to apply that you've learned from today?
Persistence pays.
Oh, yes, ma'am. All day, all day. Thank you. Chris?
Talk to 20 people and get my data.
Nice.
That's it. 20 conversations away from your data. That's it. I appreciate you. And I just want to say thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up and taking action. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wrap this puppy up. I just want to say you guys made the commitment to show up, take action, follow through. If you have any more questions you have with regards to what you learned today, what you got, if you get stuck, just know that the community is there to help you out. You can access the Income Accelerator community. It's called the Roadmap to Riches community. So you have access to people there. You have us there. We're there to help you at any time you need any kind of bottlenecks, get rid of any bottlenecks. And again, remember, it's not about you. It's about the people that you serve at the highest. We're 6 feet above the ground because we're here on a mission to impact them, influence them, and generate an income that will leave a legacy for 7 generations deep so that people remember your name. Okay? That's what this is about. It's way more than just the tactical stuff. So I appreciate you. Thanks for making the time. Chris, have a great evening. Stay in touch and let me know how you go with your progress. Annie, I'll see you around again because we're in touch anyway. But enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy sunny Perth. And I'll see you on the other side of the top right there, the summit. Baking.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Talk soon. Cheers. Bye-bye. Ciao.